Okay, I think I reappeared. I hope that everything is good because, truth to tell, I never know. But okay, let me just share. Okay, yes, I think now everything works perfectly. So today, Magdalena Vari, we have Monday. Magdalena Vari, transformational women coach. I help corporate women live authentically, boost their self confidence, and find their path, whether this path is to stay or go outside a corporate job. And in today's live, I'm going to talk with you about self confidence. I know this topic is popular. This topic has been talked about so long and so many times, and I'm not really going to invent the wheel. But still, I believe that topics like self-esteem, like deservingness, like self-confidence are always valid. And most of the people, my friends, my acquaintances, me, we still have problems with this issue, even on some only levels or in some only areas, but we do. Therefore, I decided to talk with you today about this topic. Yeah. So first thing that I wanted to tell you is that self-confidence is not inborn, and self-confidence is not a concept that is innate. So of course, some people, some children, some kids are born brave and courageous and self-confident, but others are not. And we must remember, and this is very good, that self-confidence can be learned. Self-confidence, it is a process and it can be learned gradually, slowly, and one step at a time. So, what we must do in order to boost our self confidence, and why this is really so important. I think this is crucial because it impacts all our areas of life. Yes, it impacts our professional life. When you are in some job, if you are self confident, you will go, you will ask for the pay rise or not. Confidence, self confidence impacts our boundaries, and you are able to set healthy boundaries, or you are not because you are afraid. Self confidence also gives you the power and the ability to be open to new possibilities, to new people, to new chances. Yeah, so therefore, I believe deeply that it is really important. And what we can do in order to boost self confidence. So, first of all, I believe that we must challenge ourselves and we must start facing our fears. Because what does it mean to be self confident? It means to go out of your comfort zone. I know the concept of comfort zone is also known, but each time in our life we do have fears, yeah, because even if you are on your path, even if you are growing, even if you are in this place completely different where you were 1 or 5 years ago, which is actually great and you should celebrate it, but still probably you are facing with some new challenges that are appearing on your new level of growth. So I think this is actually eternal topic, and all the time we must face it. Yeah. So what to do with fears? Yeah. I told you in some of my previous lives that fear is the acronym, and it stands for false evidence appear real. So in fact, most of the fears that we have is just in our head, and it's just an illusion. And what is really very positive, most of these monsters, green monsters that we have in our head, are never going to happen in reality. But anyway, even that we somehow consciously know about it, we are kept by these fears, we are paralyzed by them, and we don't take action. So, what we must do, we must embrace our fear, we must acknowledge it, and of course, what? We must take an action. We must take action because actions, when you take actions, mm, this fear starts to dissolve, this fear starts to decrease, and you gain slowly, slowly, gradually more and more confidence. Yeah. And I think there was a proverb that elephant can be eaten piece by piece or slice by slice, something like that. uh, so don't put yourself a huge targets that are threatening, and you think that, oh my gosh, when I'm gonna get it, or it's so threatening to me at my position. And usually what you do is something counterproductive, and you just procrastinate, you don't take any action. So start with something small, yes, even if your longer term goal is big and it's gorgeous, yeah, and it excites you, but start with something small. Yeah? Divide this big goal in some smaller chunks and start with something really, really small, because this is the key: taking action, going out of our comfort zone and facing these adversaries, or facing these situations that in fact make us feel uncomfortable. Yeah, I will tell you, for example, a story from my life, and this is a story about making lives actually. uh, well, my first life I made maybe 3, 4 years ago. And I remember that I was preparing for this life like 3 years maybe, and 3 years. Oh my gosh, what I say? 3 months. Sorry, it was just too much. Yeah, I was preparing like 3 months, and then I produced this live like a 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I remember the last week before, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was just so tense and anxious because I had the feeling that probably all of the world is going to watch me, and all of these people, all of these 7 billion people on the earth will see what kind of mistakes I'm making, and everybody will just laugh at me. Yes. And of course, then after this first live transmission, my next one was probably half a year later, or maybe even later, because I felt so anxious, and these emotions were actually so strong that they were putting me off, and they were holding me from making the other lives. Yeah. And I remember that then when I restarted, it still was some kind of stress, and quite big stress. Yeah, I think. Well, but you can get used to. Still, of course, now I love the interaction. I love contact with people, and for me now, talking to you when I don't actually see you, and you don't talk to me, so it's a kind of strange situation. Yes, but I get used to, and I must say I feel pretty comfortable. Even I know that it goes live, and if I make mistake, you can actually see it, feel it, and laugh at me, of course. Yeah. So this is this question of also inner critic. Yeah. And I think especially we women have this inner critic quite strong, especially women who are, for example, perfectionists, who like everything to be, extremely, extremely good quality. And this is good that we are aspiring there, but remember that when you are expert, you can give extreme quality. But when you are learner, when you are just starting doing something, yeah, everything is new. Everything, in fact, is new. And I want you to remind yourself some kind of situation, like, I don't know, maybe driving a car, or when you were learning as a kid, riding a bike. It was a torture. Yeah, I remember the first time when I went to my car to learn to drive. It was a torture. just to start the car and just to arrange the gearbox and the steering wheel at the first time. Yes. So of course, when you think about these kind of activities at the beginning, everything was very difficult. Everything was very new. But when you keep doing and keep doing and keep doing, when you have this perseverance, when you have this consistency, when you are consistent, it starts slowly to become easier and easier. Yes. And I would like also to remind you that, you know, don't give up so quickly. Because I think quite a lot of times we have some goal, we have some dream that is important to us, but we make an attempt, yes, we make a try, and then maybe once or twice it's not so good, and you think, well, I'm not cut out to do this. Yeah, this is not my story. And I would like to tell you some stories about famous actors from my country. Um, some of them actually who are now recognized as the really, really top of the top. They are probably now 60, 70 years old. But they had, a great, great class, and they are really the best. They were telling in some interviews their own stories, and they were telling that they were, for example, a couple of times rejected from the film school, from the exams, because somebody told them that, well, you are not good enough. Come on, you want to be an actor, you want to be an actress, you must be joking. Yeah. And this is this, I think, this is this very, very important moment and a very important decision that you are going to take, because you may believe somebody else. If this person tells you not, you are not good enough, you are too fat, you are too ugly, you are too old, or whatever, yeah. And we have very often a lot of reasons that we give ourselves why we cannot do something, why we cannot pursue our dreams, why we cannot really do what we love, why we cannot change the job, why we cannot open our own company, etc., etc., etc. Yeah. And we all have this narration in our head, especially if somebody else will tell you that you are not good enough, because this is painful, of course. But we, as conscious beings, we have a choice. And you can say, okay, somebody told me I am too old, I'm not good enough, or whatever, but I believe differently. My reality is different, and I'm gonna prove it, and I'm gonna get it. Yes. So what I am inviting you to do is just to continue, is just to continue no matter what. And if something is really important for you, if something really has a big value, just don't give up after the first attempt. Just don't give up because, well, something went wrong, or you've made some mistakes, or somebody told you, well, you are not good enough. You always has a you always have the choice. Yeah, you can choose, yes, I believe this person, I believe you, or you can say, no, I'm going to create my reality. And we are creating our reality. We are creating our reality with our words, with our thoughts, with our energy. And as I told you already, yes, take this energy of the go-getter. Um, don't don't try to come up with excuses, yeah, because either you can find solutions or you can find excuses, yeah, and we can go either way, yes, and you are the only person who will choose it, yes. So the other thing that I would like to today tell you about is how to boost self-confidence, is to take some role model. Well, actually, you can choose somebody. You can choose somebody you admire. somebody, I don't know, authentic, charismatic, yeah, professional, well, somebody who just resonates with you, and try to connect with this person. You can do it on energetical level, yes, and you can just connect to this person, especially when you are facing some challenge, especially when you need to take some important decisions. And I will tell you a funny story from my life. I remember I was working with some mentor from Russia, and she also, we were in some process, and she told us to choose the mentor, yeah, from the outside world, the person we admire, the person we look up to. And at that time I remember that I chose Richard Branson, because he's very successful entrepreneur, and he's very crazy man and passionate and enthusiastic about life, and I love his energy. Yeah? And also he believes in people. He empowers his team, and I found him just great. Yeah. And our task was to buy the slippers of our mentor. So it was very funny, because I was thinking that he's kind of unique. Actually, all of us, we are unique. And I bought the slippers that had the shape of the unicorn. They were really funny. And one of the tasks, but at that time I didn't know that we are going to have this task. One of the tasks was to go outside and do some particular things. And imagine that it was happening in the fall. So I had my jacket, I had my trousers, and of course, this funny, extremely funny slippers with the unicorn, yes. And at the beginning, I felt really completely out of comfort. Yeah, I felt like really kind of weird, yes, because people were staring at me, really. Some of the people were staring at me, probably thinking that something is wrong with me. But then I did what I was supposed to do. And then even I remember that I went to the bank, to the headquarters of the bank, because I wanted to arrange something. Yes. And of course, the people at the bank also were staring at me, but nobody said a word. Yeah. But I remember when I came home, I was really, really in the good mood, and I was laughing. And I must tell you that my self confidence really, because of this exercise, really increased. But why is it like that? Why is it like that? Because I did something that was actually completely out of my comfort zone. Yes. Of course, now I can laugh when I tell you about it, but really, when I think about it, it wasn't so easy at that moment. And I think this kind of situations, when we expose ourselves to some events, some situations that are kind of difficult for us, uh, this can really help us boost our self-confidence. Yeah. So I watch. I have a look here. If I have told you about everything I wanted. And of course, one more element. Um, this accountability. This giving yourself a chance and giving yourself a word, and keeping your own word. I believe that this is also very, very important, because sometimes we give the words to other people, and it is easier to keep the words to other people than it is to keep the word to yourself, because you think, oh, nobody sees this, so I will just make a small excuse or one exception, and then you make 10 exceptions, and then completely you break your promise. But when you want to also boost your self-confidence, it's very, very important that you when you promise yourself something, you just stick to this and you keep your word, because in this way you build the trust to yourself. Also, you can build the trust to the universe, because I was telling you about this already. A lot of synchronicities may happen in your life, and very positive, of course, synchronicities, the ones with your logical mind, you could never thought about, or you could never have created. Yes. So just summing up what I said today about self-confidence. Self-confidence is important because it actually radiates on all areas of your life. Yes. And it is not innate, it is not inborn, and everybody can learn it, and you can learn it as well, and you can gain this self-confidence. Yes, and very important is to face your fear and take action instead of procrastinating, instead of coming up with excuses. Yeah. And one more thing which I actually forgot to tell you about is, of course, your focus, your laser focus. Because you remember that what you focus on expands, yes? And when you focus on your weaknesses, mistakes, problems, of course, what will happen? These things will grow bigger and bigger and bigger. And you will have actually more and more of something you don't want to have. So even when you start something new and you don't feel so comfortable, and this is not your expert position, uh, just take this attitude, be good for yourself, and give yourself some time, give yourself, be patient to yourself, and also think like that. Okay, I'm not self-confident in this area of my life, but I'm self-confident in the other. Yeah. And I just need to sacrifice some time or devote some time for this area, and with practice I'm gonna get more and more of this self-confidence. And of course, as I mentioned, the good way is to have some role model which you can follow, which you can admire, which you can energetically connect with, or even like with these funny slippers. Yeah. Why we actually are doing this? Because energy likes embodiment. Yeah. So if you do something in a physical reality, it actually impacts this all energetic situation, energetic exchange. Yeah. And everything what happens in energy. So I love this embodiment, and I love doing something doing something in the physical world which represents something, yeah, which connects me energetically to this issue. So you may also come up with you don't need to use slippers. You can come up with some your idea how you are going to connect um, to your role model. And of course, remember that Rome wasn't built in a day. We need to be consistent, because consistency is the mother of mastery. And this is very, very important that when we come up across some obstacles or some hurdles, that we just don't give up, because at the end of the day, remember that this is your life, and what is most important is that we are joyful and we are fulfilled. And at the end of our life, we can say, yeah, it was a good fun, and I really lived my life in alignment with my values and in an authentic way. So I think this is all from me today. What I also want to tell you is that, of course, I'm inviting you to my group, Awesome Authentic Women. And what else? If you want to talk with me, if you want to talk about your self confidence, your situation, and what is actually holding you back from pursuing your dreams and goals, you can book a 60-minute free session with me. And after this live, I will put the link so you can use this link and you can have this meeting with me. It's free, it's a 60-minute meeting. So thank you very much for listening today. Thank you for being with me, and have a great day and great week. Bye bye.